Puppies and all the fixins. And every Friday is Catfish Friday, featuring their catfish special at lunch and the all-you-can-eat Friday night special. Arts, more than just great barbecue and burgers. Try one of the shrimp or fresh fish entrees at Arts Barbecue on Rogers Avenue next to Aaron's in Fort Smith.
At Shelter Insurance, we know landlords have to keep up with their renters, even if they're related.
Mom, Dad, what a surprise!
We just dropped by to pick up your
rent check.
Oh, I'm running a little short this month.
Not everything works as smoothly as Shelter's renter's policy. It helps cover stuff in case of fire, theft, and more.
Maybe I should just move back home. Don't you love me?
Oh, of course.
But now your room's Dad's man cave.
Oh, man.
Shelter Insurance. We're your shield. We're your shelter.
Call me, Ted McAvoy in Van Buren.
In Fort Smith, call me, Jeff Clark.
Hot dog! Spring is finally here and not a moment too soon. Hi folks, Larry Rath here with a better way to drive at Rath Auto Resources. No spring training here. Our all-star team is ready to help you hit a home run with savings up to $3,200 below retail. And the bases are loaded with the freshest inventory in the Fort. Cars, trucks, SUVs, all the most popular makes and models right here in one spot. To make this team, these vehicles have to be Rath Road ready. That means they're hand-picked, then inspected and reconditioned in our own Meineke Car Care Center, so you know you're getting the very best pre-owned vehicle you can buy. If you're keeping the car you have, turn the double play in our Meineke Car Care Center with half-off brakes and up to $200 savings on a set of Cooper tires. Don't commit an error on your next used car purchase. Knock it out of the park with up to $3,200 below retail at Arkansas's #1 rated and reviewed independent dealer and proud sponsor of the Northwest Arkansas Naturals, Rath Auto Resources, and the Meineke Car Care Center, 4515 Towson Avenue, Fort Smith, or online at rathauto.com.
Requires bank approval. Vehicle purchase price affects trade allowance.
It's your piece of land, your point of pride, your place of peace and quiet. Your yard means something to you. So mow like you mean business with a professional-grade Gravely zero-turn mower. Gravely means comfort. Gravely means strength. Gravely means cutting precision. Gravely mowers mean business. Gravely, build to mow the distance.
Visit Bush Machine and Tractor, 7301 0 Street in Fort Smith, or at bushtractor.com.
ESPN Arkansas weather.
Chance of showers and thunderstorms with us today. Our temperatures this afternoon will be in the mid-70s north, low 80s south. Decent chance of showers and storms continuing tonight. Folks, some storms producing some very, very heavy rain. Across the north, we could see 2 to 3 inches just tonight. I'm Sally Russell with your forecast on ESPN Arkansas.
Weather is brought to you by Mosquito Joe. Don't let mosquitoes ruin your outside fun this year. Call Mosquito Joe at 479-202-9960 to keep your yard mosquito-free, or visit arkansas.mosquitojoe.com.
Here we go. From the Bush and Bushlight Studios, this is ESPN 95.3.
Well, this town is a pigskin paradise.
KERX, Paris, Fort Smith.
Good morning, Vietnam!
Broadcasting live from the Bud Light Studio.
I love Arkansas! I love everything here! Give me that thing here! Woo!
On your favorite Arkansas sports talk station.
Why did that happen in Fayetteville, Arkansas?
Dixon Street. It'll get you.
Streaming live from
Hit that line.
.com.
You want answers! I want the truth! You can't handle the truth!
This is Halftime.
Man, that ball got out of here in a hurry. You know, anything travels that far, ought to have a damn stewardess on it, don't you think?
With Phil Elson.
Bill, I think you do a spectacular job.
And Tye Richardson.
Tye, I love the way you talk, buddy.
Pack your bags, load them up, gas the car, and raise that bright red flag to the skies. 423 miles away, the Emerald City awaits. The Hogs are going to Omaha.
Hey, hold on, it's almost halftime.
Show, same spot on the dial that you've been getting used to for these last 8 months, but I'm finally home. Finally. I have finally made it home. Although, yes, I do my show at home more often than not. But in a sports sense, I'm home doing this broadcast today from the spot that I'll be doing a baseball broadcast later on tonight when Arkansas plays their final non-conference game of the 2019 baseball season, well, at least the regular season. You expect this team's going to be playing a lot of games against non-conference teams in the postseason. But this is the last one against a non-con team in the regular season against Grambling today at North Little Rock's Dickey-Stevens Park, the home of the AA Arkansas Travelers, opening in 2007. I used to work for this franchise for 14 years, 6 years at the old ballpark, Ray Winder Field in Little Rock, over by the zoo and War Memorial Stadium. It's now a parking lot. and then 8 seasons at this ballpark, Dickey Stevens Park, where I did all those games from this very seat. In fact, this exact chair, the equipment that I've set the box that I've set my equipment up on in this booth. Not only was it here when I worked here, I brought this thing with me from Pittsburgh. This was in my bedroom as a child. This stand that I've got my equipment on, so it's almost like I'm in my own bedroom now. Ty. And yes, I did take a nap or two on the floor of this very booth during a couple of those minor league seasons, which can get so long. So, I'm sure you feel like you're home in the studio, Ty, because you've gotten to know that studio intimately well. And I know this booth intimately well as well. So this feels like coming home, like the prodigal son finally coming home.
There you go. I'm kind of disappointed because the rumor has it that there used to be a couch in ESPN Star Arkansas Studios here in Barling, and it was taken away. So I've never got to experience. I actually, for a guy in myself that kind of takes after my dad and falls asleep periodically, takes naps, I have not napped here one time. I have not fallen asleep, which is just surprising to me. Now, I have in various other places, like concerts, just watching TV, whatever it may be. But surprisingly enough, I have not fallen asleep at work once. It will eventually happen, but at this moment in time, I can honestly say I've not fallen asleep at work.
I don't know if you've got a place to actually do it there.
I could shut the production studio and they wouldn't know the difference.
But it's like, where are you going to lay? Are you going to fall asleep in that chair? That would be like falling asleep on Spirit Airlines, where you probably have to pay $25 just to be able to move your neck a little bit.
Yeah, not the greatest of accommodations.
Well, this booth, I used to sleep with my feet up against the door so that nobody could open it. It was the one spot that you couldn't see me because of the way the windows are situated. So, yeah, that's knowing a booth intimately. When you know exactly the way you're supposed to take a nap so you can get away with it in the middle of the day, you know that place pretty well. So that's why this feels like it's my bedroom too, because I got this stand. This stand held my first ever radio, and it holds my radio equipment right now.
So the biggest takeaway so far of the show, and probably the show overall the next 2 hours, is that find a place in your office or where you work that you can sleep without being spotted for taking the occasional nap. That's what I've taken so far out of this program.
I was pretty good at falling asleep in school while not really even them noticing that I was asleep. So anyway.
Did I tell you the time I got kicked out of class for falling asleep? Did I tell you that story?
I haven't heard about that one.
Okay, well, we'll just do it quick. My teacher had a policy. It was in the syllabus, and this was in college, no sleeping or you get removed from the class. And I thought it was kind of a joke. I had a late night actually studying, not doing any other extracurricular activities, studying for that class of all things. And sure enough, I dozed off a few times, and one time lasted a lot longer than the other. And it's like, you need to leave. And I had friends in the class just staring at me, and they were kind of like, this is a tough situation, dude. And so I just had to walk out. That's the first time I've ever been removed from a class for sleeping, even though I've slept many a times.
Well, it's not cheating unless you get caught.
Exactly.
So it's not sleeping in class unless you actually get caught.
Exactly.
So that's okay. So the guys are on the way down here. I think the bus left from Baum Stadium at 11:30 in the morning. 6:30 first pitch. We're on the air at 6, of course, right here on ESPN Arkansas and all of our affiliates. And the Razorbacks will try to stay hot. They've won 9 of 10. This is a team that, just like a lot of Dave Van Horn's teams, definitely the good ones, they usually are playing pretty well this time of the year. This is like February for a college basketball team. The last month of the regular season, you want to get your starting rotation set, you want to get your bullpen set, you want to have your lineup set, and at least figure you've got some consistency in those 3 areas. And the last couple of weeks, you've had exactly that. Your starting rotation has filled in on the weekends to where Patrick Wicklander and Connor Noland are supplanting Isaiah Campbell, your ace. So you've got your 3 starters. Your bullpen, and I like what I've seen in the pen of late, even though there's been some shaky moments from Jacob Kostychak since the injury and from Matt Cronin, because they've done well while missing key pieces from the pen recently. Without Cody Scroggins last weekend, without Kostichak the week before, Arkansas still had success. And now both are expected to be back this weekend against Kentucky. So I think I feel pretty good about the pen. Plus Elijah Trest and Jacob Burton have, I think, started to at least show signs that as freshmen with great stuff, they're now starting to throw more strikes. So you feel good about the pen. The offense, this lineup is good. I mean, they're averaging about 10, 11 runs a game in these last 10. So they're playing really good baseball right now. This team is bought in, and I think they bought in from the start. And the truth is, if you don't buy into what Dave Van Horn is planning to do for you, then don't show up on campus. You know what I mean? And I think that's understood once you appear on campus at Arkansas to play baseball, is that you've already bought in to everything you already know about Dave Van Horn as a coach and Arkansas as a baseball program, and it's kind of been like that for a long time. The other major sports on campus, it's still kind of being set in there. I mean, with basketball, you're still in the first month, so who knows who has bought in and who has not bought in yet. We know Gentel Silla has bought in. UNC Wilmington transfer has bought into Eric Musselman. He's already committed to transfer for his last year. And we'll see who else is going to stick around, plus all these other offers that have been thrown out there to top talent across the country, whether or not they're going to buy in. For Chad Morris in football, you're seeing a little more of a – you have the year. You have the one season. You have now the first few months of the offseason to maybe get a sense of who has bought in and maybe who hasn't bought in. And definitely, based upon the players that have transferred out. And what number are we up to on transfers out of football?
It's 30+ that are known, and there's some that we might not know but it's over 30 right now that have either transferred, medical hardship, and there's other various things that have occurred. But it's a good number since Chad Morris arrived here in December of 2017, Phil.
Well, I guess the first that didn't buy in was Jonathan Nance. Right? He transferred. He announced he was transferring out in October.
Yeah, early.
So he was the first. Since the end of the season, a lot more names have appeared in that transfer portal. And it's not to say that Ty Story and Cole Kelly didn't buy in last year to Chad Morris. It's just they weren't going to fit the plans any longer.
Yeah.
For what you need at quarterback to find success, and are Ben Hicks and Nick Starkel, are they what you need? I don't know, but they've bought in. They've already bought into what Chad Morris has planned for them, which is a competition for the starting role this next season in 2019. And we can talk about Connor Nolan another time as far as where he fits into the quarterback standing, and KJ Jefferson too.
Did you hear Scotty yesterday on Ruskin and Zach? Did you hear what he had to say?
No.
He said that he doesn't think Connor Nolan is going to take another snap on the football field for the University of Arkansas, referring to games, not practice. But I thought that was kind of interesting for him to come out and say that. And I think you're not all the way there yet, but the more success he has on the baseball field, I think you're going to inch that direction as well.
Well, I think the writing's on the wall both ways. From who's already coming to campus now that wasn't part of the team last year, and I think that includes KJ Jefferson and the transfers. And the other side of the writing on the wall are all the zeros that Connor Nolan's been throwing up there in scoreless innings in these last 2 weeks. So, yeah, that also will, because I don't see anything changing right now because football's done until August. So he's just focused on baseball, and I think he'll get a lot of questions about that as this baseball season wraps up and as you get into media days for football.
And it's only going to heat up if he continues to have this success in postseason play. It's one thing to do it early on in non-cons. It's another thing to do it in conference play. And you go down to Hooverview. But if he manages to kind of stay at an even pace come postseason, Phil, those questions, they're not going to go away. He's only going to get more of them when it occurs to baseball and football.
But I think he's bought into pitching right now. Mm-hmm. That's pretty obvious to see with success the way that he's mounted these last couple of times out. So baseball's in a place where everybody seems like they've bought in. Basketball, it'll take some time, though. Although you only need 2 handfuls of players to buy in theoretically, and you're set with your guys ready to go. For football, I mean, how many gosh, you need about 50 different players to buy in.
It's just such a harder sport to turn over players and turn over the system because of how many more players are on the football field, how many more players are in the locker room, and how many more players impact the overall game. Because we always talk about how in basketball, of the three major sports we talk about daily in this program, that's the easiest one to turn around. You get 2 or 3 players in there, your program with just even subpar coaching has a good chance to be successful. Football, it's a completely different story. The coaching cycles that have to change and just the different coordinators that come in, the different philosophies, it takes so much more time. And you almost have to require more patience from fans when it comes to football. But Phil, as we know, that's where the least patient fans are, is in the realm of college football.
Yeah, we all want it. We all want it right now. And I mean, who's got to be more patient? Players that are battling for playing time, or fans that are waiting for wins? Because the players are the ones that have to buy in. I think most of the fan base is still on the fence a little bit. You've bought in theory, based upon the energy that we're seeing from Chad Morris and his coaching staff, and the recruits that are being brought in. They have to buy in as to where they fit in, where the playing time will be. And look, if you're getting these sort of athletes to campus, they're buying into the energy and the thought that they can play here. Plus, some of the players that have stuck around. Top of the list is Sosa Agim, somebody that could have jumped for the NFL, might not have had the seasons or success as a defensive lineman at Arkansas to where you're going early in the draft, but still in a place where if you're not buying into playing another year at Arkansas, you can go to the NFL. And McTelvin Agim would have been drafted if he would have left after this past season. With that body, with that speed, with that size, and I think you would have seen him go in maybe not, certainly not early in the draft, but he could have gone and have a little bit of leverage at the same time. This is somebody that could still make a difference, and he's bought into the case of sticking and moving to a new position, moving into the interior where he can have maybe a little bit more impact. So it's good to see somebody of that caliber of an athlete that had the choice: do I jump or do I stay, and can I get better while I'm here? He has bought in, and hopefully that's a good sign for some better statistics, more production at that position in his last year and the last chance to make an impact here at Arkansas.
Here's Chad Morris and how Sosa's really bought in heading into his senior year.
Several that have stood out that had a great spring. I think, obviously Sosa making the transition from outside to inside and being fully committed and bought in. I mean, one of the messages that I shared with him back in January is don't come back if you're not fully bought in and moving inside. And he understood that. He was great. He met with his family and said, "Coach, I'm ready." And it paid off.
With so many players today jumping ship at the slightest sense of turbulence, it's kind of interesting that this is a guy that, as you mentioned, could have been drafted and would have been drafted along with Armon Watts, Dre Greenlaw, and Yelda Froholt. And yet he decided to come back for his senior year. And I think it's a part of Chad Morris, and he likes the John Chavis system. He sees the players that John Chavis has put in the NFL. And I also think it plays into the fact that he was a lot more hyped heading into college as the 5-star guy out of Hope. And maybe that plays in the fact that he doesn't feel like he's lived up to the potential. But Phil, as you mentioned, not only with the basketball program, with Eric Musselman trying to change the culture, what he wants with that. Baseball, you remember the conversation we had with Joe Serrano a few months back? How he said he kind of arrived, kind of chirpy, happy-go-lucky, and then he realized when he got there, I can't really do that as much. I can do it every once in a while, but this is completely different from high school. Well, Chad Morris is the exact same way. He comes across as a no-nonsense guy, calling last season unacceptable, completely unacceptable, multiple times. It seems like it was the rhetoric he shared with us and his players on a daily basis, and it's one thing to say it, but it's another thing to completely change it and implement what he wants because, as we know, that takes time, and you got to get the guys to fit to his system. And I don't even know, and even if we can say heading into year 2, if all of his players are completely bought in, because that takes time, it takes success, and it doesn't happen overnight. But at least when you see an example like Sosa, when you see other guys that have decided to come back for their senior year and really buy in. It's a start. Now it's about finishing the process, and we'll see if he can do it these next few years.
Has Justice Hill bought into football yet?
Well, that's just been a dry spell. Like, I haven't heard anything about that, and I'm kind of curious with Eric Musselman coming in, Phil, if the idea of Justice participating in both football and basketball, if that's been nixed. Because I know you had a conversation with Tyler Wilson. We've talked about it multiple times, how Bobby Petrino was like, you're not playing baseball. You're just going to play football. And I know that changed with Chad Morris, allowing Connor Nolan to play both baseball and football. But I'm kind of curious with Justice Hill being on a basketball scholarship, which is the key, if Musselman's going to allow him to play football. The next media conversation, then I hope someone asks that, because I think that's kind of a point that we simply haven't hit on in quite some time.
He did take part in some spring practice, correct? Once basketball season was done, once they were knocked out of the NIT, and he wasn't traveling with the team by that point. He was just practicing with the basketball team, and that was it, which means you're not traveling. So he did take part in some of the spring practices. He did not play in the spring game, correct? I don't think he did.
That would have been like a big deal, unless you and me are just like having one of those combined brain farts we did. But I just haven't seen anything concerning Justice Hill being a part or trying to be a part of the football program. And I feel like that would be relevant news that whoever's right, whether it's Richard, Danny, like Nikki, like one of these people. We could probably ask Nikki when we get on at the bottom of the hour, but I just haven't seen anything. I know it's our job to know this stuff, but we just I looked up before the show, and I just haven't seen any recent news concerning Justice Hill and the Arkansas football program.
Well, and with all of the grad transfers looking at Arkansas, with all of the other offers that Coach Musselman and his staff, or whatever makeup of the staff we know about, have been sending out offers and contacting recruits, and with Justice's standing as the lone recruit for 2019-2020. I mean, he was the one incoming player, and you just wonder where his standing is. And I kind of wondered where his standing was, even if there wasn't a coaching change. Just based upon the things that I know, as for him as a basketball player and as a football player, you kind of wondered, where is it you're going to try to make your impact? Where are you going to be allowed to make that impact as well?
That's probably the better question to ask, is where are you going to be allowed to? Because we don't know Eric Musselman's ideas, philosophies when it comes to two-way players. We don't know if he's okay with that. We don't know if he's completely against it. And I just think that's something we're going to find out in time. It could come out in the next few weeks. Justice is no longer playing football. He's 100% focused on basketball, or it could be the opposite way, where he says, yes, we're going to allow him to participate in both sports, but I don't think there's anything of note that's come out of it as of late.
Right, and would football save a scholarship for him without looking immediately to see the scholarship situation? And that's the other thing that's different about the Connor Nolan story, is that this is a baseball player right now who's on the football scholarship.
Yeah.
And, the situation with baseball scholarships, nobody can get a full baseball scholarship. It's just impossible when you're dealing with 11.7, and the rules say nobody can have a full scholarship. So if he were to switch to baseball, you lose that full ride, and then you're on a different sort of a schedule and how you're paying for school. And I don't know what the Nolan family situation financially or monetarily, but that's one reason why high school players end up going pros sometimes, is you get that signing bonus a little bit quicker.
Yeah, and that's one of the questions I want to ask Chris Burke when we have him in hour number 2, ESPN baseball analyst, that how do college coaches in college baseball, how do they leverage, or how do they convince a kid coming out of high school that's being offered all this money to come pay to play baseball, which is interesting. And then on kind of back to Justice, Phil, Fitzhill was on the Buzz a couple months back, and he was talking about how Chad kind of laid it out for Justice. Hey, we'd really like you to come play, but it's ultimately up to you what he decide. And he kind of just noticed the different, just how Chad Morris was as a recruit, like how he noticed how players were drawn to Chad Morris because of how he talked and treated Justice and giving him different avenues, different ways if he wanted to participate in football. And that's not we talk about starting from the ground floor up with some of these recruits he's bringing in, like a Trey Knox, like a Colin Clay, like some of these big time guys. But then also the fact that these senior leaders that were originally recruited by Brett Bielema and his staff, they have to completely change over and decide, we're going to stick it out. We're going to stick it out with this new coach, even though we were originally recruited by another. And hopefully by the end of our career here, we'll either have a solid enough ground where this program can continue to build, or will be the jump start for this next crop of young guys that are coming in.
So Ty's let you know throughout this segment who we've got coming on the show today. On Tuesdays, always Nikki Chavanel from Rivals to talk some recruiting. Heavy into the basketball recruiting today, so we'll be getting with her in about 15 minutes or so. The second hour, former major leaguer and current ESPN college baseball analyst Chris Burke will join us at the bottom of hour number 2, and we'll be talking a lot of Arkansas Razorback baseball and maybe a little bit more just about the SEC specifically. Plus, it's Tuesday, so get off my lawn. We've got a baseball preview for Arkansas Grambling coming up in just a moment. And I want to talk to anybody out there that's dealing with divorce or dealing with child custody issues, or if you're dealing with DHS not telling you what's going on with your kids, you need an experienced and aggressive attorney that's in your corner, and that's Kevin Hickey Law. They've dealt with all of it: angry spouses, false accusations, ugly custody battles. They've seen all of it. So if you're facing anything like this, Kevin Hickey Law Partners is here to help with experienced, caring individuals that will step in and aggressively represent your interests. Call the legal pros at Kevin Hickey Law Partners at 479-434-2414. That's in the River Valley. Or for Northwest Arkansas listeners, it's 479-802-6560. Or go to kevinhickeylaw.com. A belated happy birthday to Kevin Hickey, who celebrated that birthday yesterday. All right, we'll come back. Got a baseball preview coming up. This is ESPN Arkansas and hitthatline.com.
You're listening to Halftime. It's Southern Tire Mart Free Break Inspection Tuesday. This is the Morning Rush.
And Nolan Richardson, coined this whole thing. When you create a monster, you got to be able to feed it. And if you run out of food, the monster will eat you. And with Dave Van Horn, and I don't think he's running from it because I think he embraces that expectation. Yep. He embraces fans' level of expectations, not only for this team this season, but for this program in general, that College World Series is where you expect to be.
Don't miss the Morning Rush. Weekdays from 6 till 9. Only on ESPN 95.3.
The best TV experience in the nation is available locally with personal service from WOW World of Wireless, your neighborhood professional Dish authorized retailer. Dish has the Hopper 3, the most advanced DVR, and delivers a premium viewing experience. Tired of running out of DVR space? With the Hopper 3, you can record up to 2,000 hours of your favorite programming and watch your very own favorite channels and DVR recording anywhere you go on your phone or tablet. Call now, WOW World of Wireless at 877-305-DISH. That's 877-305-3474 for more details. Or stop by our location at the corner of Phoenix and Rogers Avenue in Fort Smith, or visit us online at shopwownow.com. Get the Hopper 3 today by calling WOW World of Wireless at 877-305-DISH. That's 877-305-3474. Or online at shopwownow.com.
Monthly equipment fees and other restrictions apply. Recording hours vary. 2,000 hours based on SD programming. Remote viewing requires internet connection and compatible mobile device.
This morning, I heard my mom's favorite song on the radio, and it made me think of all the great times we've shared together and how she's always been there for me. Thinking about her made me smile, so I decided I wanted her to know just how special she is, and I wanted her to know right away. So I called my florist and said, I want a bouquet that'll make Mom's heart dance.
When you call, we deliver. Whether you're making an ordinary day special or celebrating a special occasion, call Greenwood Flower and Gift Shop at 996-2127 for same-day delivery, customized gifts, and more.
Spring is in the air. Not in the house, Dalton. Okay, AJ. Aw, snap, I told you not in the house. Red Kool-Aid all over the white carpet. Mom and Dad are gonna... Okay, AJ. I can't believe it. We're so in trouble. I told you so.
Thank you for calling Service Master Clean. This is Tanya. How can I help you?
Tanya, it's Dalton. for the clean you expect and the service you deserve. Think ServiceMaster Clean. Visit us online at smcleanonline.com.
Got a mystery stain on the carpet and the kids insist they don't know what it is? Or you're just ready to give the house a good spring cleaning? Call ServiceMaster Clean at 646-4087. Call today for spring specials.
ServiceMaster Clean, for the clean you expect and the service you deserve. It's okay, AJ.
Tri-Hill Turf offers the highest quality turf and pest services. Hey, you say those are big words. Well, let's see. Tri-Hill Turf and Pest has a company agronomist, state and nationally certified technicians, free soil testing, and they even have precision GPS guided application equipment. Now that's high tech. For over 30 years, Tri-Hill Turf and Pest has used the latest application technology, and they strive for turf and pest excellence. They are your local turf and pest experts. Call the local team at 782-0404. Tri-Hill Turf and Pest.
Hey, Fort Smith, the Hampton Inn by Hilton was ranked in the top 10 Hampton hotels in the U.S., and their devotion to top-notch hospitality shows. With complimentary Wi-Fi, a free hot breakfast, and all of the bells and whistles you would expect, this newly renovated hotel has it all. They offer Hilton's digital key technology, meeting spaces, an indoor pool, and sports court. Hampton Inn by Hilton gives you everything you need for business or leisure travel. Give them a call at 479-452-2000 and see for yourself why the Hampton Inn is Fort Smith's best hotel.
This next segment on Halftime is brought to you by the Kevin Hickey Law Firm, the #1 resource for your child advocacy needs. You're listening to Halftime with Phil Elson and Tye Richardson.
Here's the pitch. High drive, right center field. Look at that one go. Way back, over the video board. Holy cow. Heston Kjerstad with a massive long ball.
It's going to be tough to get massive long balls out of Dickey Stevens Park today when the Razorbacks play Grambling. This is a pitcher's ballpark. As I sit looking out at the infield being watered right now, I am reminded at how many times I used to refer to this ballpark as a graveyard. This is a tough park for minor league baseball players to hit it out of. And the college players, of course, they got the metal bats, but it doesn't have the same effect as the lightning bats used to. It's much different now. This is a tough place to hit home runs. So, hey, Kjerstad could get it out of here. So could Casey Martin. So could Dominic Fletcher. So could most of the hitters. It's just pretty rare to see college home runs at this ballpark, especially with the notch out in deep left center about 415 feet away. It's 400 or straightaway center, and it just plays bigger than the distance markers show. The wind right now is blowing in. I don't know what it'll be like later tonight. I know people are worried about rain. I think you're going to be fine. The rain should hold off until about 11 o'clock. Hopefully by then we're done. Good thing, too, because I got my kids coming out here, and I don't want them here until 11:30 at night. They got school tomorrow.
You know what the best part about tonight is, though? It's not going to be broadcasted on television, so the only way people can hear about the baseball game is if they listen on ESPN Arkansas to the glorious pipes of Phil Bartholomew Elson. I have no idea what your middle name is.
It isn't Bartholomew, that's for sure.
So people are going to be excited about that because I know a lot of people, including my friends, that I felt like that was just a stigma of the older generation to mute the TV and turn the play-by-play of you. But I have actually friends that do that as well because they can't stand some of the broadcasters on ESPN or the SEC network because even though as good as Arkansas baseball is, they feel like they're always geared towards the other team. So they really enjoy listening to you, Phil. That's the best part about tonight, man. Not the game being in Little Rock, so you're already there. It's that no one has a way of keeping up with the game unless they listen to you.
Well, and the only reason that this is done like this is because we're playing at this minor league ballpark. Because Cox TV used to have a contract to broadcast or televise some non-conference neutral site games or road games for Arkansas. Now every game is done on ESPN Plus virtually. Every game. Certainly all the games at Baum Stadium are. And so they can't do those games any longer. So they don't have that contract. So this ballpark isn't wired like like Baum is for SEC Plus. So this is the one game. This is it. I don't know if you would count the televised-ish broadcast that Southern California did as a high-quality telecast, but it was video. I mean, it was TV-ish.
That's you being respectful as a fellow broadcaster. I'll go and say that was the crappiest display of broadcasting baseball, or sports for that matter, that I've ever seen. So you're going to be respectful about it. I'm going to trash it. That was garbage.
Yeah, it wasn't very good. So good. So you're saying our ratings will be off the charts tonight?
Oh, they're going to be incredible. It might be the biggest game of the season in terms of ratings for the radio side of things.
You better watch out, too. I mean, you've lost midweek games to Little Rock and to Northwestern State. And it doesn't matter the opponent that's come in here to Dickey-Stephens Park. But this is not a bad opponent. Grambling's not bad. They've got the 8th best on-base percentage in the country. Their batters reach base about 41% of their plate appearances. They're averaging 7.5 runs a game. They have a winning record, which I think in the SWAC, that's tough to do. Not only a winning record in conference, where they're 12-6, but overall, they've won 23 games and lost 20. Now, their RPI is going to be bad just because they're in the worst RPI league in the country, which is the Southwestern Athletic Conference. That RPI is 243. Arkansas's RPI is number 3. So you got 240 spots on them. But last year's team was ranked 2nd in the country when they came in here to this park and should have lost to Grambling. It was one of the weirdest games. I don't remember all the details off the top of my head, but I do remember Grambling using one pitcher for every inning. So they had 9 pitchers during the game. I'd never seen a team do that before. None of them throwing any faster than about 84 or 85 miles an hour. I mean, they had some soft-tossing guys, and you could see it was tough for the Arkansas players who've been used to seeing 90 to 93 miles an hour. And, I mean, we saw this last weekend from Tennessee, 95, 96, even up to 99.5 from one of Tennessee's relievers. So it'll be difficult for them to stay back on the stuff that they'll see from the Grambling pitching staff today. And then there's just something about playing in this ballpark. Although the Hogs have only lost 1 game in 9 visits. This is the 10th visit for them to Dickey-Stephens Park. They're 8-1 here at this baseball park. But it's usually tight ball games against teams that you would think they would beat pretty badly.
They schedule intentional wins, it looks like, from the outset, and yet the games are closer than you might think.
Well, I mean, you've had some quality programs come in here, like Louisiana Tech. The 2 out of the first 3 years you visited here, they beat La Tech in extra innings. La Tech's a good baseball program. You've had Memphis come in 3 times and beaten them each game. Oh, pardon me, the only loss was to Memphis. 5-4 in 2015. Beat them 2-0 in 2017. But there've been a couple other visits from the SWAC schools. Mississippi Valley State came in here back-to-back years, left with 2 losses, but by combined score of 5-1. So they should have lost one of those games too. There's something about Arkansas playing in this ballpark, even though you're going to have about 9,500 rabid Razorback fans standing and cheering for the entire game. The atmosphere here is great for college baseball. For the one game that we play here, it is awesome. But there's just something about these factors, and you usually have a tight game, so who knows? You would think that Arkansas would have a chance to run rule them or crush them by, like a 15-1 like Mississippi State did, but you never know. You never know. I would imagine you see a closer ball game just because of the history here. All right, that's later on tonight, 6:30 first pitch, 6 o'clock airtime here on ESPN Arkansas. Nikki Chavanel will join us next. We'll talk some recruiting on halftime. This is ESPN Arkansas and hitthatline.com.
Missed a segment or interview? Check out the Halftime Pod at hitthatline.com.
ProCare Family Health with locations in Bonanza, Chaffee Crossing, and at their new location in Poto. 1103 Dewey Avenue in Poto is your primary care clinic, acting as a principal point of healthcare to patients of all ages. Their emphasis is to educate patients about their health and how to maintain it throughout their lifetime. They are devoted to the best research models so that their patients can get the highest standard of care. ProCare Family Health can assist with weight loss, testosterone injections, diabetes, and cortisone shots. ProCare Family Health, dedicating to meeting your healthcare needs.
Tommy Kraft for the Fence Man. Do you own a business that needs more security? Or maybe you just want a better look and more curb appeal? A new fence from the Fence Man can give you both. In business for more than 40 years, the Fence Man can custom install any type of fencing, gates, controlled access, and card readers. Call the Fence Man for a quick, no obligations quote. 479-782-3936. That's 782-3936. The Fence Man. He ain't afraid of no work.
Hi, I'm Kelly Smith, owner of Dixie Digital Imaging, the Xerox authorized agency and dealer in the River Valley. The 29 new models of Xerox business printers and copiers represent a quantum leap forward in office technology. They are designed for the way we work today, safely and securely. They're powered by Xerox Connect Key technology. They're innovative and affordable with both black and white and color devices available. For more information, give Dixie Digital a call at 783-6600 or visit us at dixiedigital.com. Dixie Digital Imaging, bringing Xerox document innovations to the River Valley.
Hi, this is Roger Holroyd, Arvest Bank President for the Fort Smith region. Please join us in fighting hunger in our community by participating in Arvest's Million Meals. Arkansas and Oklahoma both rank among the top 10 nationally in food insecurity. Make a monetary contribution or donate non-perishable food items at any Arvest location until June 1st. You can also contribute via the Arvest Go mobile app. Contributions stay local and benefit one of our 11 community food partners. Please visit arvest.com/millionmeals. Arvest makes no representation that any contribution is tax deductible. Please consult your tax advisor.
Fresh means fresh, as in no preservatives. That's right. If it's fresh, it doesn't need to be preserved. Try Jim's 100% premium Wisconsin cheese. Fresh whole milk mozzarella, wood smoked provolone, old world style Romano and Parmesan. The freshest all-you-can-eat salad bar in town. No preservatives and fresh every time. Fresh, fast, Jim's Razorback Pizza. At the corner of Greenwood and Gary in Fort Smith. Is your home secure? No, really. Is your home secure? Do you just ignore the dog yapping, roll over, and go back to sleep? Guardtronic, the oldest alarm company in Arkansas, can make sure you sleep soundly. Founded in 1959, Guardtronic will make sure your home or business is protected against fire and burglary. How much do you have to lose? Call us at 785-2323 for a free quote before the bad guys make a call on you. Or visit guardtronic.com. License E050.
Halftime is brought to you by Orr Auto Park. Score more with Orr. You're listening to Halftime with Phil Elson and Tye Richardson.
2-0 the count. Here's the pitch. A swing, a line drive, base hit down the left field line. Here comes Kenley with a winning run, and the Razorbacks have swept Tennessee. Let's talk with Nikki Chavanel, Rivals.com. Always joining us Tuesday, this time of the day. Nikki, how's it going today?
It's great. It's our 1-year anniversary, so I'm just kind of soaking in the whole last year and looking forward to next year.
I saw you mention that on your Twitter. Congratulations on making it a year at Arkansas. It's usually the first year is always the toughest. Did you find that to be true? Was this a, I don't know if tough would be the right year, but was it a trying year in the new job?
You know, there were some down moments, but I feel like the lessons I've learned have really prepared me to succeed in the future, and I know kind of what to expect from the fan base now in any given situation. So it's nice.
Well, what's your impressions? Because the fan base is really who we all are playing towards and playing for and writing for. Is that's why we have these shows. That's why we have Rivals.com. Give me your impression of the Arkansas fan base and how it might differ from other fan bases that you've either been a part of or gotten to know.
Well, they're incredibly passionate. I came from SMU, and there's not a whole lot of fans like that, but they're incredibly passionate, and you kind of have to take into account how much they've been through, and you have to be sensitive about that. So that's something I've kind of adjusted in my year in Fayetteville, trying to put myself in the fans' shoes to give them, accurate takes of what's going on, but not being a Debbie Downer about it.
Nobody likes a Debbie Downer. I guess there are some places that like it, but Arkansas wouldn't be one of those spots. I'd say about 80% would rather be pixie dust, to borrow the term that I've called Bubba a couple of times.
Yeah.
Well, so you got some visitors coming in for more football visits coming in this weekend, correct?
Yeah, I've confirmed 4 of them, and there might be a 5th, a JUCO linebacker who is currently committed to Minnesota from Butler in Kansas. But the other 4 are all high school guys, and I particularly like one of them to commit this weekend, and that's Brandon Frazier. He's from McKinney North in Texas. He's a tight end, so Arkansas already has one tight end committed in Alan Horace. He's also from Texas. But Brandon Frazier, he's probably more ready to commit than anyone else. He cut down a list of top 8, and Arkansas is definitely in the front half of that list, and he's visited here more than any other school. So I could see him shutting it down. He kind of knows what he's getting out of Coach Lunny in the program, so I could see that happening. They're also welcoming a 3-star wide receiver from Texas, from Marshall High School, Savion Williams. He's really quick for a 6'4", almost 200-pound receiver. That's kind of the prototype that Justin Stepp likes to work with. So I could see them, kind of pushing him for a commitment. They have 2 wide receiver commits right now, and one of them, Xavier Capers from Georgia. He is being pursued really hard by their schools. He just took an official visit to South Carolina. So I think if there are guys coming in that they like well enough, they're not going to wait because they already have some commits. They're going to take as many as they can and work out with the numbers later, because you never know who's going to decommit down the line.
Talking with
they also have.
Oh, sorry. Go ahead.
They also have an athlete who plays corner mostly, Jahari Rogers, but he's going to be really tough. He's an Oklahoma legacy, and from what I've heard, Oklahoma would be very happy to have him. So usually that's how that goes. And they also have a 3-star offensive lineman, Garrett Hayes. And everyone thought that Hayes might commit when he was on the Hill last time, but then A&M really started pushing heavy for the Athens, Texas native. So we'll see how much progress Arkansas can make this weekend on all those guys.
It's a Tuesday, so Nikki Shabnell, Rivals, and Hog Beats our guest. Nikki, Rakeem Boyd has gotten a lot of hype heading into this 2019 season. At times, he showed flashes. I know he was banged up a lot last year. I think I attribute some of that to playing JUCO the year before and then coming in to try and play a daunting SEC schedule. You think he's deserving of the hype he's getting heading into this season?
I think he is, and I think he's only going to get better once he's fully healthy now, because he had an injury that nagged him for most of last season. He was still able to push through. Not a whole lot of games that he was able to go the full game, but he just has some really really strong natural ability and instincts. And there are a lot of times where he's maybe a little too patient behind the offensive line, and he needs to just find a hole and get out there. But I think he's definitely poised to be one of the top rushers in the SEC next season.
So Phil and I opened up the show talking about players buying in, and one of the questions we had for each other that really neither of us had solid answers for is, what's the deal with Justice Hill? And the fact that we haven't really heard anything on Eric Musselman's philosophy concerning players playing both basketball and football. Have you heard anything with Justice Hill's status, possibly still being able to play football?
Well, no, I haven't heard anything new since Coach Musselman arrived. It seems like Justice is very focused on playing basketball, and that's what we had heard from him. And last time we talked to Coach Morris, which was probably like a month ago now, he didn't say that there had been any movement on getting him to come play football. But I think that's probably for the best. Coach Morris only has 2 spots left to fill for this coming season, and they really need help at linebacker and maybe a secondary player. So I just don't see it working out. Like as few scholarships as there are in basketball, and how that would help them doesn't really trump how important those last 2 spots are to the football team.
Nikki, we've got a couple more minutes left here. Let's switch over to basketball. An offer going out to Jabri Abdur-Rahim. Can you tell us about him?
Honestly, they have been offering so many really, really talented high school athletes that it's been tough to keep up with them all. But he is a 4-star prospect, 6'6", 180. They've offered, I want to say, more than 10 2020 prospects for that hoops class. And you hope that they tackle the in-state guys first and get them on board, but we just don't know how many spots there will be for next year's class. Right now, if nobody was to leave, they would only have 2 spots, I think, for next year. But
you're hitting on something that I feel I've picked up on too. It's difficult sometimes for me to keep up with all of the recruiting aspects of football because of the number of scholarships you have and the number of offers that go out, and that's one of the things that you're so good at. I almost feel like Arkansas basketball is trending in that direction, at least at the start of Eric Musselman's tenure, because the offers have come fast and furious these last couple of weeks, and it's been almost impossible for me to keep track of it, and that's one of the things that you're trying to focus on too. You have that sense? Are they kind of just sending tons of offers out to the best talent of the country, just hoping on a whim, or is there a legitimate chance with most of these kids?
Well, you never know what Musselman can bring from a recruiting standpoint. He did manage to sign a McDonald's All-American to Nevada, and that's surprising. But right now, he kind of has to send out this many offers, and you want them to be, 4-star, 5-star offers just to get your foot in the door, because these prospects have been picking up offers since they were freshmen in high school. So right now, he's kind of behind, and he needs to get to work on selling those guys on what he's bringing to the table and getting them to Arkansas. But I have a hard time believing that Coach Anderson would have been aiming this high for prospects. I think he looks for guys that were serviceable, but maybe didn't want to work as hard to see just how good of a player he could get here.
Nikki, I was listening to Eric Musselman on Andy Katz's podcast today, and he kind of talked about they don't have a 5-man right now, and they might not get one. And he talked about how he would put a small forward and a power forward in that position if need be, and he didn't want to make a mistake in filling that hole by just some player that didn't fit his system. I know Auburn's had success with kind of playing small ball under Bruce Pearl in the SEC, but do you think Eric Musselman in Arkansas can afford to play really in this conference, especially being hiding with all these new coaches trying to play small ball?
I think he can. A big part of his offensive strategy is, spreading the ball out and getting a lot of shots up. And with the personnel that he has right now and the guys he's trying to add, he's looking for scorers. And if he has guys in the middle that can kick it out and find those open guys while still doing, a good amount of work in the paint and rebounding is key. I think you could see Reggie Chaney really having a big year and taking over in the middle, as well as trying to get Gabe some more in the middle. And we have Gental Silla coming in as well. He's already signed, and I think you could see a lot more small ball, and I think it'll work out fine for them. Not all of the teams that were deep into the tournament this year had, a classic big man. So I think he'll work it out just fine, but he is looking for some larger players for the next two classes.
All right, speaking of large players, and Nikki, we'll finish on this. Kerry Blackshear out of Virginia Tech, he's trying to transfer. He's entered the portal after his former coach, Buzz Williams, is going to Texas and is at Texas A&M. I know John Calipari had an in-home visit with him last week, and I know Arkansas has been leaked to him. Is there any chance at all that he ends up choosing the Razorbacks?
I haven't heard as much on him as some other of the transfers. I didn't really hear that he was trying to set up a visit here. So for now, I'm going to say no, but they have put their foot in the door to see if he has any interest. But he's obviously a very, very talented player and could go play at one of the top schools in the nation right now and not have to wait and see what's going to happen with the team and how they're going to piece everything together.
Nikki, you're always great with your time. Thanks so much for coming on today. And here's to a great second season here in Arkansas covering Razorback athletics.
Thanks, guys. Thanks for having me.
You got it. That's Nikki Chavanel of Rivals.com. And Respect the Wood tells me on Twitter, Tye, that it sounded like Nikki was getting attacked by birds during the interview because there's a bird's nest that's above me here at Dickey-Stevens Park, right there on one of the speakers angled towards the field. Did you hear birds chirping?
I didn't hear anything, but I saw that someone responded that, is Phil doing a show from a bird's nest? And I didn't know what he was referring to because I'm not hearing anything on this end, but I guess you sound like you're in a bluebird's nest, Phil.
Joining us next, Big Bird here from the Aviary in North Little Rock. This is Halftime on ESPN Arkansas and hitthatline.com.
Missed a segment or interview? Check out the Halftime Pod at hitthatline.com. It's Southern Tire Mart Free Break Inspection Tuesday.
Are you looking for a new place to call home? Whether you're looking for an apartment, duplex, townhome, or a house, Trinity Multifamily has you covered. They even have options in surrounding states, from Texas to Michigan and Kansas to Tennessee. If you're looking for a new place to call home, make Trinity Multifamily your first call at 479-452-1817. That's 479-452-1817. Or online at trinitymultifamily.com to search rental properties near you.
You know, a night out with friends can be so much more. Upgrade your evening at 906 Cocktail and Cigar Lounge on the Avenue. Rediscover life's simple pleasures. Dial back, slow down, and immerse yourself in what true relaxation can be. Top shelf wines and liquors, premium beers, world-class cigars, all in an atmosphere that feels less like a lounge and more like a destination. Sample, indulge, escape. 906 Cocktail and Cigar Lounge. Upgrade your night on the Avenue.
Guys, are you tired of all the hassles with your CPAP machine? Putting on the mask every night, cleaning or replacing hoses and filters? Tired of taking it on trips and wondering where you're going to plug it in? And don't forget the distilled water. You need a solution. River Valley Sleep Solutions. Replace your CPAP with an innovative custom-fitted mouthguard. Medical insurance is accepted, and financing options are available. Find out more at rivervalleysleep.com. That's rivervalleysleep.com.
Elite Roofing is a locally owned roofing contractor. If you're building a new home or maybe need a new roof on your existing home, Elite Roofing can take care of you. Elite Roofing is known for their dependability and reliability. Just ask any of their satisfied customers. They are licensed and insured, and references are available upon request. If you need a roof, call your local roofing contractors. Elite Roofing, 478-8668. That's 478-8668. Elite Roofing, 478-8668.
Hi, I'm Lisa Hinton. You asked, and we listened. New financing options available now at Champ Hinton Enterprises. Can you believe payments starting at $150 a month? 5-minute credit approvals and 0 down with trade-ins. Come find out for yourself why we have been serving families in the River Valley for over 38 years with over 35,000 cars, trucks, and SUVs sold. We treat you like family. Champ Hinton Enterprises, I-540 at the Arcoma exit, or champhinton.com.
True Grit Running Company is where perseverance meets passion. Whether you're training for your next marathon or just comfortable shoes to keep up with your kids, we have the gear to help you reach your goals. With our slow motion gait analysis and our extensive product knowledge, we have the right pair of shoes for you. We also carry apparel, nutrition, hydration accessories, injury prevention gear, and recovery products. We offer classes, workshops, and group runs. Lace up, show up, and get your grit on. True Grit Running Company, 6808 Rogers Avenue, Suite B, behind Chick-fil-A.
If you needed major surgery, you probably wouldn't choose a doctor who's never been to medical school. So when your car needs major repairs after a collision, why would you take your car to a body shop that's never been trained? Evans Body Shop is among only 10% of collision repair businesses to meet the industry's highest training standards as a gold class shop. We know the latest repair techniques, how to find hidden damage, and how to repair your car's critical safety features so they work properly again. With the safety of your vehicle and your family at stake, choose trained repair professionals. Choose Evans Body Shop,
where we meet the nicest people by accident.
Looking for a high-quality and affordable pre-owned vehicle? Hertz Car Sales offers a wide selection of high-quality cars, SUVs or trucks, amazing customer service, where you can buy direct and save on every car. With inventory arriving daily, why not make the short drive to 2810 Midland Boulevard? Or give them a call at 783-1722. You can also check them out on the web at buyfromhertz.com. Trade-ins are always welcome. Stop by Hertz Car Sales today. You'll be glad you did.
This next segment on Halftime is brought to you by the Kevin Hickey Law Firm, the #1 resource for your child advocacy needs. You're listening to Halftime with Phil Elson and Tye Richardson.
Kerstad crushes this. Straightaway center. That ball's got a vapor trail on it, and it's off the batter's eye. Did you plan this, Tye?
I'm gonna be honest, Phil. I didn't. I just, as soon as, because I don't know. The only thing I know is the music that we're coming into. I don't know the highlight that I've attached to it, and that worked out because someone had a decent week last week, Phil. Just a decent week.
And his name is Heston Kerstad. He was named Collegiate Baseball's Player of the Week for the country. Hit .450 last week with 3 home runs and has been absolutely on fire. Leading Arkansas to wins in 9 of their last 10 games. So Kerstad, let's see here. I got him over his last 17 games with 28 base hits, a batting average of close to 370 with 7 home runs and 22 RBIs. 22 RBIs, 7 homers in 17 games with a near 370 batting average. Got the season average up in the 330s. He's crushing it, and he got an RBI in a way that you never really want to get an RBI. Got a bases-loaded hit batsman in the 5th inning on Sunday, and it's not like it's an achievement when you get hit by a pitch. It's just because they want to pitch you inside. But Kjerstad's now been hit by more pitches than any Razorback this year, 10 of them. And for some reason, the 2 times he got hit by a pitch on Sunday, it was by that lefty Redmond Walsh, and he hadn't hit a batter all year long. He ends up hitting Kjerstad twice. He's the baseball magnet, and he's also the Collegiate Baseball National Player of the Week.
And one of Kjerstad's dingers resulted in me getting a beer in my face. So there's that to add on that as well.
Was that the one that hit the top of the video board? Yep. All right, that was good. All right, we'll come back. We've got some things to get off my lawn. I got some home runs to talk about if we're talking get off my lawn. This is ESPN Arkansas and hitthatline.com.
State sales tax paid on every vehicle on the lot now through the end of the month at Harry Robinson Buick GMC. Get your state sales tax paid on every new Buick, GMC, and pre-owned vehicle on the lot, but only till the end of the month. You'll save hundreds, even thousands, but you have to buy before the end of the month. This does not apply to previously negotiated deals or sale prices. State sales tax paid on every vehicle on the lot, but only till the end of the month at Harry Robinson Buick GMC. Exit 11 off of I-540 in Fort Smith.
At Michelob Ultra, we know it's not just about how much you work out every day. It's about how much you work into every day, too. So we brew our beer for those who realize that expending calories should never come at the expense of spending time with friends. Those who understand that just because you work out doesn't mean you can't go out. And that's why we brew Michelob Ultra to have 95 calories, 2.6 carbs, and a crisp, clean taste. Michelob Ultra, brewed for those who live fit, live fun, live ultra. Enjoy responsibly. 2018 Michelob Ultra Light Beer, Anheuser-Busch, St. Louis, Missouri. 95 calories, 2.6 carbs, 0.6 grams of protein, and 0 grams fat for 12 ounces.
It's time to celebrate at Burton Pools and Spas in Fort Smith and in Springdale. 41 great summers with Burton Pools and Spas. Hi, Tommy Kraft here. 41 great years. That goes to the testament of what a great company Burton Pools and Spas is. A family-owned business you can count on. If you're even thinking about a spa, an in-ground pool, an above-ground pool, anything to turn your backyard into an oasis, now is the time with Burton Pools and Spas. As part of their celebration of 41 great years, now through May 6th, save up to $6,000 off on in-ground pools. Enjoy a hot spring spa with $500 down and 0% financing for up to 60 months with approved credit. And if you're thinking about an above-ground pool, $800 off on Doughboy above-ground pool packages. It's the 41st anniversary sale going on right now through May the 6th at Burton Pools and Spas in Fort Smith and in Springdale, and always online at burtonpools.com. Burton Pools and Spas, your source for backyard fun. Hey dads, do you have an athlete in your house that is looking to take their skills to the next level? Excel Speed Training at the Fort Smith Athletic Club has the proven results to maximize your athlete's potential. Designed for both male and female athletes of all ages and various sports to improve mobility, endurance, agility, and vertical jump. Take your game to the next level with Excel Speed Training. Call Mike Johnson at 479-926-0193. That's Mike at 479-926-0193 at the Fort Smith Athletic Club.
ESPN Arkansas weather.
Mostly cloudy sky. There's a slight chance of seeing a shower or a thunderstorm across the north tonight. Overnight low will drop down in the low to mid 60s. Now we could see isolated showers and thunderstorms becoming a little bit more widespread on Tuesday afternoon. Our high temperatures upper 70s to low 80s. I'm Sally Russell with your forecast on ESPN Arkansas.
Weather is brought to you by Mosquito Joe. Don't let mosquitoes ruin your outside fun this year. Call Mosquito Joe at 479-202-9960 to keep your yard mosquito free, or visit arkansas.mosquitojoe.com.
I hate everything you just said.
KERX Paris Fort Smith. This is Halftime, coming at you from the Bush and Bushlight Studios on ESPN 95.3.
They're hilarious.
Good morning, Vietnam!
Broadcasting live from the Bud Light Studio.
I love Arkansas! I love everything here! Give me that thing here! Woo!
On your favorite Arkansas sports talk station.
Why did that happen in Fayetteville, Arkansas? Dixon Street. It'll get you.
Streaming live from
HitThatLine.com. You want answers! I want the truth! You can't handle the truth!
This is Halftime.
Man, that ball got out of here in a hurry.
You know, anything travels that far, ought to have a damn stewardess on it, don't you think?
With Phil Elson.
Bill, I think you do a spectacular job.
And Tye Richardson.
Tye, I love the way you talk, buddy.
Pack your bags, load them up, gas the car, and raise that bright red flag to the skies. 423 miles away, the Emerald City awaits. The Hogs are going to Omaha.
Hey, hold on, it's almost halftime.
Well, before the Hogs go to Omaha or anywhere else, they're going here to North Little Rock at Dickey Stevens Park, where the field is getting lined. I see the batting practice cage appearing in the right field corner, and the memories are flooding in. Mostly positive memories. Some really late nights.
Just mostly positive, not all positive.
No, not everything that I saw here was positive. It's not to get morbid, but yeah, I mean, I saw a coach die on the field here, so not everything here was positive, that's for sure. But most of it was positive over the 8 years that I worked here. And that even includes the long, sweaty nights, the getting out of the park at 1 a.m. after writing a game story of a game that took 3.5 hours to play. I loved working in the minors while I was there. I would say I missed sometimes 140 games, but I like the intensity of college baseball, especially the intensity of Razorback baseball, because you got a chance to go to Omaha every single year. It's much different calling the minors, where once you get to the playoffs, it's like, playoffs? What are playoffs? Nobody really cares. It just doesn't have that. It doesn't have anything close to the oomph.
Not the same luster. Yeah.
No, not at all. Or meaning when it comes down to it.
And I'm not going to say you lucked into this situation, because everything you've done to this point you've earned, and you're really good at baseball play-by-play. But my goodness, you got yourself a good gig, Phil. Like, think about a broadcaster. Think about other broadcasters, not just in college baseball, but consistently get to call baseball or whatever sport they're calling for that has a chance to win it all, what seems like almost every year. Now, that's kind of a blanket statement on the Arkansas baseball team, because there's obviously been years that they haven't been as good as the others, and they've had a much better chance of getting and winning out of Omaha than they have other years. But consistently, this is one of the best baseball programs in the country, and you get to call baseball. You're not having to call baseball games for Alabama or a program that's at the bottom tier of the SEC. It's like it's not Alabama football like Eli Gold, but you're almost like the Michigan State basketball broadcaster. I don't know who that is, but consistently, Omahags, they're basically in the Final Four every 4 years. That's the equivalent for Dave Van Horn. I remember when I was interning for Barton Bow a couple years back, and they made that comparison. That's pretty much the same comparison. You get to go to Omaha about every 4 years.
Only difference is you don't have that national championship. And
Yeah.
Michigan State has a couple in basketball.
Yep, that's true. But they haven't had one under Izzo since 2000.
I know. That
Isn't
was
that
surprising.
crazy?
When we were talking about the Final Four going in, I thought, wow, I thought there was another one thrown in there. But it's just, I guess eventually you just kind of figure after all these trips to the Final Four that there'd be another national title thrown in there. You almost feel that way about Arkansas baseball. 9 trips to Omaha and 2 second-place finishes. So, yeah, I mean, we know that in Arkansas, but I think across the college baseball landscape, there might be some people that pay attention that are a little surprised that don't have at least one. Is this team the first one to do it this year? I don't know, but right now,
Don't put that in people's heads, Bill.
I don't know, but they're playing pretty darn well. I can only tell you that they're beating good teams too.
Yeah.
All right, it is early in the first hour on Tuesday. We got some things that are going around. We got some things that you got to kick out of your way and get off your lawn.
Did you hear me? I said get off my lawn now.
Old man, my ass.
Perhaps I could be of some assistance.
You're on Facebook, huh?
Well, I've been trying to figure it out. I joined about 10 minutes ago.
Well, better late than never.
Get off my lawn.
So the first thing I'll start with are the things are getting off of lawns across Major League Baseball. They may end up setting an all-time record for home runs in a single season, the way things are going right now. It's pretty astonishing when you look at some of the numbers here. Baseball is on pace to shatter the record for 6,000. Well, let's see. They are on pace, actually, to shatter over 6,105 home runs, which was the MLB record set in 2017. There have been a home run hit every 25.5 at-bats, and there have been it's ridiculous. Look at this. There have been 1,111 home runs hit in a total of 954 games played. So you're averaging well over 2 home runs per ball game, because the 954 has to be divided into 2. So you're going to see a major league record in home runs. Could you imagine over a major league season potentially seeing 6,500 home runs? They're pretty close to getting to that mark. The Yankees set the single season home run record last year with 267. Get this, entering yesterday's play, 3 teams were on pace to hit over 300 home runs.
Wow.
Yeah, the Twins are on pace for 317. The Mariners on pace for 308. And the Brewers at this pace would hit over 300, but would hit 301 home runs. Now, the Baltimore Orioles are on pace to allow the most home runs ever hit by a pitching staff, which was 2016 Reds allowed 258 home runs, and Baltimore already has allowed 73 homers in 30 games. They're giving up over 2 home runs per ball game. So, and look, baseball has adjusted to the major league shift, to the infield shift, in a way where the best way to beat the shift is not to bunt against it. It's not to hit through the shift or to go the other way against the shift. It's to hit it over the shift and hit it over. That's the one thing that can't be defensed in baseball. There's 2 things that can't be defensed in baseball. 1, walks. You can't do anything about a walk because the ball's not put into play. You can't defense a strikeout because it's over everybody's head, and there's literally no way to do anything with that. And that's the direction Major League Baseball took. And this doesn't have anything to do with steroids, with performance-enhancing drugs. This has to do with a change in the approach of hitting. That it used to be they wanted you to hit line drives and hard ground balls. Well, they don't want you to hit ground balls anymore. Now they want you to hit high drives that just keep going. Get backspin on the ball the way you hit it. Batters are being taught with this whole launch angle craze to get it as high in the air and hit it out as far as you possibly can. This is different than the ball being juiced. This is different than the players being juiced. This is the direction baseball has taken, much in the same way that the NBA has taken to the three-point shot, and not just the three-point shot, but even, the extremely ridiculously deep three-point shot. So the way baseball is being played now, and the numbers are playing it out in front of you, if you got a lawn, and that's all baseball fields are, they're just giant lawns, that baseball's getting off my lawn, Ty.
All right, we'll go back to my first get off my lawn. Way back in 1991, first round of the playoffs, Game 3, where Michael Jordan decided to baptize Patrick Ewing and tell him to get off his lawn.
Jordan trying to shake off Starks. Oh, what a move by Jordan! Oh, please, let's see that again. 100 times.
Jordan on the beautiful dismissal of the defense. In this case, Starks, and then Oakley, and then the deception. No, I'm not going away from the hoop. And who's at the end waiting but Patrick Ewing?
I feel like Pat Riley, the New York Knicks, Patrick Ewing, and John Starks always got the brunt of some of Michael Jordan's best games, best moments, best anything.
It's kind of like what Jordan used to be to the bad boys, the Pistons, the back-to-back championship team. They were always just not quite good enough to beat them. It was the same way with the Knicks and the Bulls in the early 90s.
Yeah, it just kind of transitioned, because what happened is you have Jordan's Bulls fall into them in 80, 88, 89, and 90. You remember Scotty's migraine game 7 in the Eastern Conference Finals, and then eventually they were able to beat him in 91, and then the Knicks became the quote-unquote the bad boys, but Riley's teams weren't able to get over the hump. But then you also have Scottie Pippen just absolutely posterizing Patrick Ewing on that one fast break dunk a couple years later in 94, and it just always seems like they would be on the bad end of Jordan or Scotty's dunk. So, yeah, the first get off my lawn moment has to come from Michael Jordan 28 years ago, Phil.
All right, my second, I brought this up yesterday briefly, and I've never believed when I hear fans complain about an anti-Arkansas bias in the SEC office. I couldn't understand why a league would have a bias against any of them. Maybe a bias for a school in their conference specifically, but against, I just don't know if I ever believed it. And then I see stuff like, and again, I don't know who votes on these
and
awards.
then it's a baseball guy, and then just that your perspective completely changes, doesn't it?
Well, I don't know who votes for the awards. That's the thing. If it's coaches, if it's media members, or if it's just somebody in the offices in Birmingham that's saying, well, this is going to be our hitter of the week and our pitcher of the week and our freshman of the week. But all right, let me give you these pitching lines here and tell me who you think had the better week. A pitcher that goes 7 innings and gives up 4 base hits, 2 runs, 1 earned, no walks, 10 strikeouts, and wins the game 13-3. Beats Texas A&M. Pretty good team. Texas A&M's probably going to they got a chance to host. They're going to be a regional team. It's a good performance. Pretty good. The other pitcher went 7 innings, gave up 2 hits, which is 2 fewer than 4, 1 run, 1 fewer than 2, none earned, which is 1 fewer than 1, 1 walk, and then struck out 10. So you allowed fewer base runners, fewer runs, same amount of innings, beat Tennessee. Tennessee also looks like a regional team. So who had the better week? To me, it's go ahead.
Statistics say it's the latter. It's the second guy.
Right. It would be the guy that went 7 innings and gave up no runs, not the guy that went 7 innings and gave up 2 runs. And it's not even a matter that it was fluky. 4 hits is also more than 2 hits, right?
Yeah.
I'm getting my numbers right here. Okay, so then how does Doug Nikhazy, the left-hander for Ole Miss, who's good, really good, end up with the Freshman of the Week award in the SEC, and Connor Nolan doesn't for the second week in a row? Do they not allow this to happen 2 weeks in a row? Is there a rule against the same player winning an award 2 weeks in a row? Then again, Connor already had to share the Freshman of the Week award with Cole Henry of LSU when he shut out Mississippi State over 7 2/3 innings. That same Mississippi State team that had been leading the SEC in runs scored all year long. I just don't get it. I really don't, and I don't think I will. So I may have to tell the SEC office that I've got a few blades of grass out here in front of me. There is some sand on this field, too, by the way, because it's not the prettiest looking field these days. But I got a few blades of grass. SEC office, whoever it is that comes up with these awards, this is a small little lawn, and I need you off of it.
All right, so I've never asked you this before. Is your full name Philip, or is it just Phil?
It's Philip with 1 L.
Philip with 1 L. Okay. Well, I'm going to sit you down and say, Philip, this is the time in your life, even though that I'm the younger one, trying to talk to a guy that's 18 years old and trying to get this in his head. This is the time in your life where you embrace that Arkansas continuously, year after year, week after week, month after month, gets screwed over somehow, some way by the SEC. And you don't have to have any rhyme or reason for believing it, but as an Arkansas sports radio, so you just buy into it and feed the mob, feed the crowd. So just are you going to be a part of it now that a baseball guy got screwed over by this? Can you join the fight against the mighty SEC?
All of my preconceived notions are being destroyed right in front of my eyes. It's like the reality I've lived in all these years is just crumbling.
I'm so happy to hear that. So speaking of stuff crumbling, I'm really excited that you got me into Game of Thrones, but I'm not excited about the fact that I feel like I know how everything ends now because people constantly are talking about it on social media. Somehow, some way, I avoided the spoiler in the ending of Avengers Endgame, which I didn't watch until yesterday, which I thought was fantastic, by the way. I know you're not into that, but you are a Game of Thrones guy. And I just can't avoid it on social media. Like, I know what happens already, which is kind of a bummer. And it's my own fault for waiting this long. I have to watch about 50 episodes in the next 19 days in order to finish it by the time the final episode is released on May 19th, which I don't know if I'm going to be able to do. But my get off my lawn moment, my stand, is for all the people just tweeting about and talking about it who are on my timeline. And you can only, how you can delete stuff on Twitter and Facebook, certain words.
You can mute words
mute
and mute people on Twitter and Facebook.
But even if I've done that, like, other stuff pops up that they just don't use the words that I initially thought would be needed to take out of the vocabulary on Twitter in order for me not to get a spoiler. So continuously, I'm just seeing these things pop up. It's like, okay, this ruins this. Now I know about this. Now I know about that, which is kind of a bummer because one of the great things about movies, cinema, TV programs, whatever it may be, is the suspense, the fact that you don't know what's going to happen next. Well, Phil, I know what's going to happen next, and I'm kind of bummed out about it. So all those people tweeting about it and putting it out on social media and talking about it before I finished, or even gotten close to that point, they can get off my lawn.
Because this is like the one show now I feel that, you're watching week after week.
Yeah.
And if you're not up to date with it, then you're screwed.
You can't avoid it, man. You legitimately cannot avoid it. I can't even avoid it in my friend group because the majority of my friends are talking about it. And so I have to mute group text or mute certain conversations I'm in because I don't want to catch up on it. I don't want any of the spoilers. And I already know enough because of everything that's been plastered in front of my face. But unfortunately, I think it's just going to continue, and I think that more spoilers are going to come about.
I've seen some pretty dire warnings placed on business locations on the front doors that are warning people to not give up any of the plot pieces of Avengers Endgame. Specifically, I haven't seen this about Game of Thrones, but it's like they are threatening people who say anything about the movie in the business with being kicked out of the business, whether it's a restaurant or an arcade. I went to this arcade in Fayetteville, and they had that up there too. I've seen other people take photos of signs that are saying the exact same thing, but I don't see this about Game of Thrones.
Is that like in reference to their employees, Phil, or what is that?
I think it's reference to anybody that's walking in there because they just want the secret of whatever's happening. And I have not watched enough of the Avengers movies to just go see Endgame and say, all right, well, now I've seen it. I feel like I need to keep to catch up on all of it. Do my movie binge watching before I end up seeing Endgame. So I feel like I don't know how I'm going to be able to avoid this for the next however long it takes to get there. All right, so the last one, and I'm keeping it baseball the entire time. Did you see Casey Mize? Last year's first overall pick. Auburn ace, SEC pitcher of the year, All-American, loser to the Razorbacks. They lost to Blaine Knight 2-1 in a game at Baum Walker Stadium. That was a thrilling game. He is on fire. He made his Double-A debut yesterday for the Erie Seawolves, the Tigers Double-A affiliate, playing against the Pirates Double-A affiliate in Altoona. So they're just kind of surrounding my hometown almost of Pittsburgh. In Erie, this game was at Altoona at the Double-A ballpark. That's got it's got a roller coaster past right field, and I'm sure it felt like it was all downhill for Casey Mize. He threw a Maddox, not just a Maddox, but a no-hitter of a Maddox. He throws, and this is Double-A debut. The biggest jump in minor league baseball is from Single A to Double-A. Not Double-A to Triple-A. I mean, you go to Triple-A to the major leagues, that's a bigger jump. But if you're talking within the context of the levels of minor league baseball, Single-A to Double-A is the biggest and most difficult jump, and he had no problem with it. First, we had no trouble with Single-A, where at Lakeland he gave up 1 run in 26 innings and had a total of 8 base runners in those 26 innings and struck out 25. That's stupid good numbers. And then he goes up to Double-A and it's just like, whatever, add another 8 to this. And he throws the no-hitter on 98 pitches, which is 1 fewer than you need to qualify for a Maddox, struck out 7, and the game took just 2 hours and 2 minutes for a 1-0 win. So Casey Mize is telling Double-A hitters, and probably soon some Triple-A hitters, and you wonder if you're looking at a kid that may be making a major league debut at some point later this year, maybe he gets there before 1 full year after he was drafted first overall. And when you watch the aces that pitch in the SEC, sometimes it's amazing to think you might be watching somebody that's pitching in the big leagues the very next year. And Casey Mize right now is telling them, get off my lawn.
I don't know what the timeline of Blaine Knight or Brady Singer or some of the other guys, but that seems like it's pretty impressive for that to occur so quickly with a league that it usually takes multiple years in the minors before you get to the bigs. But kid's got some stuff, Phil. And you're probably curious why I asked you your full name, and I'm surprised I haven't ever asked you before on air or off air. And the reason for that is because Brett Brown, the head coach of the Philadelphia 76ers last night, didn't know that Jimmy Butler's real name was Jimmy Butler, not James.
It's
Jimmy.
not James, okay.
Jimmy. So here's what he had to say last night after the 76ers win over the Raptors.
This was James Butler. That was the adult in the gym. And he was just a tremendous rock.
Coach came in here and he said, this wasn't Jimmy Butler tonight, it was James Butler because how mature
my name isn't James. Literally, it's Jimmy.
That's funny, and I bet they had a good laugh about it, but that would be so awkward as the head coach, or if you were a general manager, the president, or the owner, and you thought a player, just because the common theme amongst like Jimmy or certain nicknames, they go along with another name. And you just assume sometimes, even though you shouldn't. You know what you do if you assume. We don't have to go on that, but it's one of those things where you should always double check. And I know Brett Brown's got a lot of other things on his mind in the second round of the playoffs in the Eastern Conference semifinals, but that was a funny moment last night. And Jimmy Butler, not James Butler, Jimmy Butler told his head coach to get off his lawn.
All right, that's Get Off My Lawn. We come back, we got some stuff, a really great story about Dre Greenlaw, who made some headlines from a story that a gentleman came out with, and we'll talk about that. And then we got Chris Burke, ESPN college baseball analyst, joining us in about 14 minutes. It's halftime on a Tuesday on ESPN Arkansas and hitthatline.com.
The best midday show in the Natty State. You're listening to Halftime. It's Southern Tire Mart Free Break Inspection Tuesday. This is the Morning Rush.
And Nolan Richardson, coined this whole thing. When you create a monster, you got to be able to feed it. And if you run out of food, the monster will eat you. And with Dave Van Horn, and I don't think he's running from it because I think he embraces that expectation. Yep. He embraces fans' level of expectations, not only for this team this season, but for this program in general, that College World Series is where you expect to be.
Don't miss the Morning Rush. Weekdays from 6 till 9. Only on ESPN 95.3.
When was the last time you looked forward to seeing the dentist? Well, if it's been a while or you haven't had the best of experience with dentistry, meet Marcy Van Ash McKinney in Family Dentistry. They take care of it all. Crowns, bonding, dentures, bleaching, and cosmetic dentistry. They even offer oral consciousness sedation available for your comfort. That's Marcy Van Ash McKinney Family Dentistry at 807 South 21st. Call for an appointment today, 494-7600. That's 494-7600.
Now is the time to book your fundraising and corporate golf outings for 2019 at Eagle Crest Golf Course. Call Eagle Crest now before all the best dates are gone. 479-632-8857. Eagle Crest Golf Course, voted best of the best golf course 2 years in a row. Let their staff take care of everything, from help with your tournament as well as food and beverage service. If you're looking for a place to host your corporate or charity event this year, call Eagle Crest Golf Course. 479-632-8857.
Let's see. Search for tire shops in my area.
Y'all need some help? I'm the tire guy.
Who are you, and why are you in my living room?
You need to be more worried about taking care of your old tires. Head on over to Southern Tire Mart. We get you rolling with your new Toyos, the best-selling tires in Fort Smith. Be sure to take advantage of our $24.95 oil change and our free multi-point vehicle inspection.
I only have one more question, tire guy.
All right.
Why is there a mariachi band in my living room as well? Southern Tire Mart, just off I-540 at exit 14 in Fort Smith, your #1 tire and service store.
Built as user-friendly as it is budget-friendly, the Kubota Z100 zero-turn mower cuts a lawn worth admiring. With smooth controls and a rugged deck, this machine makes mowing way more comfortable. For a limited time, you can get a Z100 mower for as low as $83 a month. Now through June 30th, 2019. See us or go to KubotaUSA.com for more information.
Visit Gray Brothers Equipment in Fort Smith and Poteau, where if you pick orange, you'll never get a lemon.
You know, a night out with friends can be so much more. Upgrade your evening at 906 Cocktail and Cigar Lounge on the Avenue. Rediscover life's simple pleasures. Dial back, slow down, and immerse yourself in what true relaxation can be. Top shelf wines and liquors, premium beers, world-class cigars, all in an atmosphere that feels less like a lounge and more like a destination. Sample, indulge, escape. 906 Cocktail and Cigar Lounge. Upgrade your night on the Avenue.
Sleep apnea isn't just a problem for the older or overweight. It can affect anyone, even children. If you or someone you know is tired all the time, it may be sleep apnea. Without treatment, it can lead to many serious health issues or even a traffic accident. Don't risk your health or that of a loved one. Make an appointment today with Dr. Bo Sparkman at River Valley Sleep Solutions. Treat your apnea without the hassle of a CPAP machine. Go to rivervalleysleep.com. That's rivervalleysleep.com.
At Michelob Ultra, we know it's not just about how much you work out every day. It's about how much you work into every day, too. So we brew our beer for those who realize that expending calories should never come at the expense of spending time with friends. Those who understand that just because you work out doesn't mean you can't go out. And that's why we brew Michelob Ultra to have 95 calories, 2.6 carbs, and a crisp, clean taste. Michelob Ultra, brewed for those who live fit, live fun, live ultra. Enjoy responsibly. 2018 Michelob Ultra Light Beer, Anheuser-Busch, St. Louis, Missouri. 95 calories, 2.6 carbs, 0.6 grams of protein, and 0 grams fat for 12 ounces.
Halftime is brought to you by Orr Auto Park. Score more with Orr. You're listening to Halftime with Phil Elson and Tye Richardson.
The pitch to Fletcher is hammered high and deep to right field. Way back is McNamee at the wall. Get out of here! Dominic Fletcher goes over the right field fence. So as if you needed more reason to root for Dre Greenlaw, 5th-round pick for the San Francisco 49ers, former Purple Dog, former Razorback, and from the story of having to be in a mental home in 5th grade to foster care 6th grade, ends up in a shelter, moved to a group home, adopted, and just always seemed to be able to take a life that you could be bitter about and make a lot of positives out of it. Well, then this story comes from a man named Jerry Dales, who apparently has a daughter that was also in high school with Dre Greenlaw and went to a party in college as a freshman, which would have been Dre's freshman year as well. And he tweeted this word for word, so it's worth reading this. He says, "My daughter went to a college party when she was freshman. She knew very few people at the party and also didn't have a ton of experience drinking, and someone slipped something into her drink when she wasn't paying attention. Dre was also a freshman. He knew my daughter from high school. He did not know the guy who was all over her. And when that guy tried to steer my daughter out the front door, he stopped the guy and said, 'She's not going anywhere.' Dre was a starter on the Razorbacks at this point. His place was not secure. He was underage, at a keg party. He wasn't drinking, but if there was a fight, he was risking getting thrown off the team. And in some ways, he was risking everything, and he risked it for my daughter." The guy backed down. No one saw him again. No one at the party seemed to know who he was, and my daughter and her friends never saw him again. I didn't ever tell this story because maybe someone would say, "Oh, he shouldn't have been at that party." Maybe not, but he had my daughter's back, and for that I will always owe him. So do me a favor, root for Dre. He's a good kid with a good heart. Well, that's a great story. I would also say I would hope that any male that's in that position that sees a friend or any woman that has that somebody has slipped something in a drink, whether underage or not, and is trying to get that female out a door, anybody should be stopping that man or person from doing that. So I think he did the right thing, but obviously not everybody does the right thing. So it's a great story to hear that from Dre Greenlaw. And it's, again, not everybody in that position would do it. It's good to see that he did the exact right thing.
Yeah, we're kind of taking this guy for his word. It would just be very unorthodox for this guy to write this complete long monologue and be making it up. So it seems pretty believable. But kind of like you're saying, Phil, yeah, you hope in that situation that any man, woman, whoever it may be, would do that exact same thing. And with you having a daughter, me having a couple stepsisters, we kind of are geared towards that and have that kind of protection side a part of us. But that's just a cool story, and you hope that any Razorback football player, basketball player, any athlete in general would do that exact same thing. But it's just a cool story to see. Like, you, as a Razorback fan, you already want to root for the kid because he went to FHS and then he became a Razorback, but this just kind of adds on to it. And you hope that, as we talked about yesterday, that injuries have kind of plagued him throughout his career. You hope that he's able to get healthier in the NFL, and I know that's harder to do when you're playing faster, stronger, in a more physical lead. It's harder and it's less likely to believe that you would not be as injured as you were in college, but you just hope that's the case because as Jerry mentioned, as other people have mentioned, I met him once, as I told you, when I was playing FHS. He seems like a good kid. I'm not going to be the guy that says he 100% is a good kid because I'm not with him on a daily basis, but just from the outside looking in, it seems to be the case.
On the topic of the injuries that he suffered, did he have any of the foot injuries that seemed to be? I know it was an ankle this last season, but you kind of wonder about, there were more foot injuries at spring practice, so it's just sort of surprising that still occurred. By the way, I don't know if it would be the playing surface having anything to do with it or whatnot, but Razorback Stadium right now you would not be able to play football on it because it's a concrete field. They took out the artificial turf, and right now it's a field that has absolutely no turf at all. They're going to be sodding the field, I think, within the next month or so, and it'll be ready for practice. Sterling's dialed in. He's from Center Ridge. Wants to talk a little baseball. We'll have to make it quick because we've got Chris Burke from ESPN coming up in just a couple of minutes. Sterling, how you doing?
Oh, I'm doing great, Phil. And I was wondering what caused this change in the philosophy of hitting. The line drive hitting, what you talked about, what we came up with, hit the ball, hit the line drives, hit on the ground, especially if you can run, put pressure on the defense. So if they, you rush the infield, maybe he'll bob it around, harry his throw. And now they just treat a strikeout like it's a normal out. When back in, our day, don't ever strike out. I mean, at least make them pick it up and throw you out. So what happened with this? What's the reason behind this change? Smaller ballparks. So, the 3-point shot is math. But, if you hit 33% of your threes, it's just as well as hitting 50% of your twos. So, but what does this come from? This launch angle, backspin, and all that. Y'all have a great day.
You got it, Sterling. It's a good question, too, and I think there's a couple of factors that go into it. One, bigger, faster, stronger. I mean, now you have bigger, stronger athletes who can hit it farther on a more consistent basis. Two, and home runs have always been popular. I mean, the players have been swinging for home runs for years. In the 50s, you had a ton of home runs. 60s, you didn't. 70s, a few more home runs. 80s, you didn't. You're really now on like a 20 to 25 year binge of home runs, and part of it are the PEDs, performance enhancing substances that you saw in the 90s. I think that's one definite reason why a lot of players that usually wouldn't have hit home runs hit a ton of them, and some players that would have hit home runs hit a lot more. But now, to me, it's different. It's the players are being coached differently. They're swinging differently. I mean, we used to be taught to swing level or with a slight upswing. Now there's more of an upswing, and being able to keep that ball in the air longer, adding on the strength and the size of these athletes, you just end up with more home runs. Plus the shift, I think. The way that you're able to defense an infield now, and with the scouting as good as it is, you're able to figure out how a player hits a ball on the ground, and you turn base hits that used to go up the middle are now outs on ground balls up the middle. So again, you cannot defense a home run. You can put fielders anywhere you want on the field, but you can't put them past the fence. So that's another thing. I mean, it's the one indefensible thing for an offense to do is to hit home runs. And I think all these factors have kind of come together into one thing. So you're seeing just a ton of home runs, after you already saw a ton of home runs a couple years ago. So that's the way baseball is played now. All right, we'll step aside for a break. We got Chris Burke, ESPN college baseball analyst, joining us next. This is ESPN Arkansas and HitThatLine.com.
The best midday show in the Natty State. You're listening to Halftime.
Only 10% of collision repair shops achieve ICAR Gold Class status, the highest training level recognized in the industry. Evans Body Shop is proud to be one of them. We know the latest repair techniques, how to find hidden damage, and repair your car's critical safety features so they work properly again. We invest in training because we would never cut corners with your family's safety at stake, and neither should you. Get your vehicle repaired at Evans Body Shop, where your safety is our top priority. Evans Body Shop, 412 Gordon Avenue, Van Buren.
Where we meet the nicest people by accident.
Unlimited personal group training at the Fort Smith Athletic Club. Personal group training is a great way to create accountability for your fitness while improving mobility, endurance, and overall wellness. Reach your fitness goals faster with personal group training. Only $60 a month. Call Mike Johnson at 479-926-0193. These workouts are high intensity and get results in under an hour. Only $60 a month. Call for class schedules and details. 479-926-0193. Results happen here at the Fort Smith Athletic Club. Doe's Eat Place is the best of the best steakhouse in the River Valley. Award-winning steaks in a great atmosphere is what you will experience every time. Doe's Eat Place offers over 150 selections of wine, including 50 Cabernets, 200 spirits, including 80 whiskeys, bourbons, and scotch, and 75 beers, with 20 different local beers and 50 imported and craft beers. Everything you need for a memorable evening is at Doe's Eat Place, 422 North 3rd in Fort Smith. Open 5 till 9 Monday through Thursday, and 5 till 10 Friday and Saturday. Call 784-9111 for reservations.
True Grit Running Company is where perseverance meets passion. Whether you're training for your next marathon or just comfortable shoes to keep up with your kids, we have the gear to help you reach your goals. With our slow motion gait analysis and our extensive product knowledge, we have the right pair of shoes for you. We also carry apparel, nutrition, hydration accessories, injury prevention gear, and recovery products. We offer classes, workshops, and group runs. Lace up, show up, and get your grit on. True Grit Running Company, 6808 Rogers Avenue, Suite B, behind Chick-fil-A.
Hi, I'm Kelly Smith, owner of Dixie Digital Imaging, the Xerox authorized agency and dealer in the River Valley. The 29 new models of Xerox business printers and copiers represent a quantum leap forward in office technology. They are designed for the way we work today, safely and securely. They're powered by Xerox Connect Key technology. They're innovative and affordable with both black and white and color devices available. For more information, give Dixie Digital a call at 783-6600 or visit us at dixiedigital.com. Dixie Digital Imaging, bringing Xerox document innovations to the River Valley.
Locally owned Lumber One can handle all of your building needs. They've built their business on having great relationships with everybody from contractors and builders to the everyday build-it-yourself. Lumber One has a full-line door shop to handle all of your door, window, and trim needs. And along with lumber, roofing and drywall products, attic wall and floor insulation is available. Lumber One also does blueprint takeoff with access to design services with estimates available. So go where the pros go. Lumber One, located on Industrial Park Road in Van Buren.
This next segment on Halftime is brought to you by the Kevin Hickey Law Firm, the #1 resource for your child advocacy needs. You're listening to Halftime with Phil Elson and Tye Richardson.
Nesbitt hits a high fly ball to deep left center. That one is way back, and that ball is out of here. Jacob Nesbitt hits a 3-run homer to cap off the 6th inning. Let's talk some college baseball with ESPN analyst Chris Burke, former major leaguer. Does a great job on the ESPN telecast, and appreciate your time today. Chris, how are you?
I'm doing fantastic. How you guys?
We're doing well. Maybe not as good as Arkansas baseball is, as I'm getting set for waiting for them here in Little Rock at the minor league park. This is, would you say Arkansas right now playing the best baseball they can, or do you think that there might be another gear for this club?
Oh, it'd be hard to say they can do much better than they've done the last. Really, I guess you got to go back to the top of the 9th, Game 3 against Vanderbilt. It's crazy. You hear coaches week in and week out talk about how this league is the week-to-week league, and sometimes in our spot as broadcasters, we can go into one place and make a snap judgment. 2 weeks later, see the same team in a different environment and think a totally different thing about that group of players. The league's so tough, and you're dealing with college kids, and there's more going on than necessarily you always know about. But Vandy put it to them the first couple games, and even though Arkansas played well in Game 3, it looked like they were about to get swept, and then they put a 5 spot on the board at the top of the 9th and closed that game out. And then basically since then they've been unstoppable. So, I think the offense, I think Casey and Heston have really got it going, and the rest of the guys have continued to play at a very high level. You look at Opitz and Nesbitt did last weekend against Tennessee, and you get that kind of depth out of a lineup that already has a bunch of firepower. And, oh, by the way, get a couple freshmen, give you great starts. Really, the sky's the limit for this club.
To me, the wild card going into the Tennessee weekend would have been the starting pitching for Arkansas. And that's the thing right now that looks like, I don't know if it's been answered because it's true freshmen, really. Campbell didn't have his best stuff, but he'll bounce back. For Wicklander and Nolan, that's still kind of the X factor because it's been 2 weeks in a row. You just never know if you get it 3 or 4 or 5 weeks in a row from true freshmen.
Yeah, it's pretty remarkable to think that Isaiah Campbell didn't pitch well, and yet they still swept the series. And if somebody would tell you that Isaiah Campbell was going to have his worst start of the year and they were going to sweep that series, I think we all have lost that bet, right? But it just goes to show you that those freshmen are really coming along. And I tell you what, I mean, Wicklander, and I don't want to downplay what Nolan's done the last 2 weeks, but wow, Wicklander, that's some real stuff. That was my first look at him just watching the highlights. And there's a lot to be excited about because the offense is a no-doubter, and the bullpen has always been very good. And if you can get that kind of starting pitching, again, there's a lot to be excited about if you're an Arkansas fan.
Do you think I mean, right now you got Arkansas and Vanderbilt leading the divisions, and from what I saw from Vanderbilt in the series in Nashville, that's an Omaha caliber team. I think they got it in every aspect, and right now Arkansas playing as good as they are. Are these the two best teams in the SEC right
Chris
now?
Burke, 311.80. I'm sorry, did I get you guys there?
Yeah, I was just asking. Who do you think Arkansas and Vanderbilt are the two best teams right now in the SEC?
Yeah, you caught me stuck in a drive-thru. I thought I had plenty of time, but next thing you know, the person in front of me, I thought I had plenty of time. So on that. I don't think there's any doubt about it. I think Mississippi State is right there with them, and obviously Arkansas made an emphatic sweep of Mississippi State, so you got to give them the edge in that regard. Vanderbilt is playing at an extremely high level. You guys saw that when you went there. I feel like I've been following them around the last month or so I've seen the coming of age of Kumar Rocker. And, I think similar to Arkansas in the fact that maybe the starting pitching isn't quite as sexy as Tennessee or Georgia's. Of course, you guys made Tennessee starting pitching look awfully pedestrian. But I think with the starting pitching coming on for both those teams, the position player group is so talented. It's pretty crazy to think about what both of those teams are capable of as they continue to improve on the mound. And so I'd be shocked if both of those teams don't end up being national seeds. But I think the league will still get 3 national seeds, and my guess is Mississippi State will be the third. And who knows? We'll see how it finishes. I guess it could get 4.
Talking with Chris Burke, ESPN college baseball analyst. Now, Chris, I don't get to travel to every baseball stadium in the SEC like Phil does. I can only watch the atmospheres on TV. Phil gets a chance to experience them all. I know you thought the Razorback just experience was pretty remarkable in Baum-Walker Stadium this weekend when Tennessee came to town. And I know Bach Stadium for LSU, Swayze Field for Ole Miss. There's a lot of good atmospheres in the SEC. I know you're a Tennessee grad, but for your money, what's the best college baseball atmosphere in this conference?
That'd be like asking me which one of my kids I like best. I don't feel comfortable answering that just because I think too much of the ones that you just named. I think all you can do is say who's the best, handful. And for me, that includes Arkansas. And I got to see Arkansas, to me, and you guys can correct me if I'm wrong, but that Super Regional last year was just incredible. The amount of tailgating that was going on prior to the game, and the way the fans rushed in to get to the seats in the outfield. And of course, to me, one of the benefits or one of the advantages that Arkansas has over some of the other equal stadiums is the outfield. And I think Ole Miss has an advantage because they get atmosphere in left and right field. For Arkansas, it's mostly just left field. But Mississippi State has now tried to outdo everybody. They got condos in the outfield. My goodness, right? So the league just keeps trying to one-up themselves. But I would say is LSU's outfield experience isn't at the level of those other 3. But, of course, LSU's got the incredible history and the 6 national championships, so that place gets as loud and intimidating as anybody. But I think that's the short list. I think those 4 right there for me are the most passionate, intense, and greatest home field advantages in the Southeastern Conference. Chris, and really college baseball.
Chris, let's close on a thought on your alma mater, Tennessee, because it was just impressive to watch Arkansas hit the ball as well as they did against that pitching staff, because Tony's got some arms on that ball club, and it feels like they've arrived a little earlier than expected. And I know there's still 3 weeks left in the regular season; anything can happen. They look like they're going to head to that first regional since 2005. But what do you think of what Tony Vitello's done at Tennessee in these 2 years?
I think he's done an incredible job. I think the tendency is to maybe oversell early, and I think he's going to do fantastic there. I do think, and I think you would agree with this, and you said it, there's still 3 weeks to go, and the fact that they just got swept by Arkansas puts them in a place really where they, honestly, if you look at the history, they're probably going to have to go 5-4 in their last 9. Now, they're capable of doing that, but that's certainly no easy task. And then you look at the fact that really their meaningful arms are all going to be gone next year except for Crochet. So, I think that both statements can be true in that he's going to do fantastic at Tennessee, and this also might be a little bit of an early arrival, as you said, just because they're losing, of their 5 most reliable arms, 4 of them will go in the draft, at least on paper, right? You never quite know in this world. But so there could be a chance they're starting all over next year on the weekend. But all that being said, the fact that they've gotten this much out of this group, considering, prior to him showing up, they were really scummy. You think about it, last year they won 12 games in this league. And anybody that follows this league closely, a 12-win team in this league is a pretty good baseball team, right? And this year they're going to win 13, 14, 15 games. And to be quite honestly, they could go somewhere and win a regional. The question is, can you get in the tournament? The league is just that tough. So we'll see. But I think Tennessee made a great hire, and certainly Tony did the Razorback Nation well in his time in Fayetteville.
Chris, we'll let you go because I know you're a little short with time. Appreciate you jumping on with us today. Have a good lunch, and we'll talk again sometime soon. Yeah, appreciate it, guys. And as I go around the league, I just will say that it is cool to see, for somebody who loves the game of college baseball, it is cool to see a fan base that loves college baseball as much as Arkansas does. So I tip my cap to your fan base because they are outstanding. So you guys be well. That's good to hear. It's always good when you hear it from those who are traveling around the conference, who are seeing what the atmospheres are like in the conference that has the best college atmosphere for baseball overall. Pardon me. When you hear those compliments to fans and the atmosphere at Baum-Walker Stadium, it's gonna carry a lot of weight. Tye, is that the first time we've had a guest go through the drive-thru?
I don't think it'll be the last. I'm surprised I'm surprised you haven't tried to stop and get food. Be like, hey, I'm going to go on the phone for a little bit. We've definitely eaten during the break of this show. I will say I've only eaten food during the morning rush and not during halftime, surprisingly, because I usually have eaten my lunch by 10 o'clock in the morning, because that's the one bad part of doing midday radio is it's right smack dab in the middle of lunch, Phil. Well, you're on the early bird schedule, really. I mean, you have dinner before most people have even eaten lunch. Yeah. Mostly. I mean, that's the sort of schedule that morning radio people are on. It's so weird, man, because I'll wake up, I'll eat a cereal bar, protein bar about 5:15, and then I'll eat lunch around 9:30 or 10, and then dinner's usually about 4 or 5, and it's basically the inverse of what I did in college. College, everything was pushed back, because you think you're waking up later, you're staying up later. Yeah, I mean, I remember I used to eat dinner in college at like 11:30 at night. Yeah, that was our late night? We had late night meals where we got meal swipes with different various fat food. It was I liked that schedule a little, just a little bit better than not having to wake up at 4:30 in the morning. Hey, but it's part of it though. Chris Burke says 1180. Didn't he say 1180? I thought he was like doing another interview, like on another radio station, some sports radio 1180 somewhere out of Columbia, South Carolina or something like that. I was hoping he would answer the question about and I get it. I mean, there's so many good atmospheres in the SEC and college baseball, but I was hoping he would, even as a Tennessee grad, be like, as much as I love those Vols, man, Baum-Walker Stadium, it's tough to beat. But I don't know if it's ever going to happen. You're going to get the luxury of traveling on the road, but I almost want to experience like the road venues with you because you get to have all the fun. I know there's other non-perks that go along with having to travel all the time, but you get to experience all these great baseball venues, especially in the SEC where they're at the highest of high.
Well, I'm excited to go look at the new park in Lexington this weekend. It's called Kentucky Proud Park, but it's odd because for a state that has its own grass, Kentucky bluegrass, they have a baseball park for the university that has no grass at all. I think they've got the same sort of field like Vanderbilt does, all turf, even on the mound, no dirt to speak of. But it is a new park. It'll be a heck of a lot better than the death trap that this place is replacing. The old park, Cliff Hagan Stadium, I mean, talking exposed brick, dugout fences that would move, they would flood. It was a bad place for baseball. Not a really good place for baseball at all. And one aspect that Tony Vitello kind of has to battle against as the head coach at Chris Burke's alma mater, Tennessee, are that the facilities are nowhere near what they're like at some of the other destinations in the SEC. Tennessee is not a destination for baseball players like so many other places in this conference are. And part of it is because of the ballpark, Lindsey Nelson Stadium, named after a broadcaster. I think us in radio can get a kick out of that. And they don't have the practice facilities either. They've got all of that they've got one of the nicest basketball arenas in the country. I love Thompson Bowling Arena. The football stadium, Neyland Stadium, is one of the biggest in the country. But the baseball park just isn't quite up to snuff. And that's a tough thing to try to recruit against because Tony was recruiting to Arkansas, where you're recruiting to a big fan base, a great ballpark, and a winning tradition. And Tony's a great coach. He's a great talent evaluator, but you still have to recruit to the things that you have on campus. And, he doesn't have a lot of those things that he used to be able to recruit for. All right, we'll step aside. We'll come back to put a cherry on the top of halftime. This is ESPN Arkansas and hitthatline.com.
Good coaches win. Great coaches cover. You're listening to Halftime. It's Southern Tire Mart Free Brake Inspection Tuesday.
Kick off the season the right way with a new RV from Crabtree RV in Alma. Crabtree is extending our RV show pricing all season long. Check out our spring show specials like a Salem 207 with a slide and bunks for $147 a month. And with RV show pricing, you can take up to $10,000 off of MSRP on new travel trailers and up to $15,000 off new fifth wheels. And we'll still give you more for your trade than the other guys. At Crabtree RV in Alma, where your family's dreams come true.
It's time to celebrate at Burton Pools and Spas in Fort Smith and in Springdale. 41 great summers with Burton Pools and Spas. Hi, Tommy Kraft here. 41 great years. That goes to the testament of what a great company Burton Pools and Spas is. A family-owned business you can count on. If you're even thinking about a spa, an in-ground pool, an above-ground pool, anything to turn your backyard into an oasis, now is the time with Burton Pools and Spas. As part of their celebration of 41 great years, now through May 6th, save up to $6,000 off on in-ground pools. Enjoy a hot spring spa with $500 down and 0% financing for up to 60 months with approved credit. And if you're thinking about an above-ground pool, $800 off on Doughboy above-ground pool packages. It's the 41st anniversary sale going on right now through May the 6th at Burton Pools and Spas in Fort Smith and in Springdale, and always online at burtonpools.com. Burton Pools and Spas, your source for backyard fun.
I think you love that car more than you love me.
Oh, how can you say that?
You hand wash it, you hand wax it, you listen to the same music.
Pure coincidence.
I just hope your insurance company feels the same way about it as you do.
They do. I'm one happy camper.
Maybe that's the reason so many people come to Shelter for their car insurance. We have great agents who are nuts about cars. We're competitively priced, and our claims people are fast, fair, and friendly. To find an agent near you, go to shelterinsurance.com. We're your shield. We're your shelter.
Ask Shelter agents Brandon Zimmerman or Chris Dooley about a free insurance review.
Hot dog! Spring is finally here and not a moment too soon. Hi folks, Larry Rath here with a better way to drive at Rath Auto Resources. No spring training here. Our all-star team is ready to help you hit a home run with savings up to $3,200 below retail. And the bases are loaded with the freshest inventory in the fort. Cars, trucks, SUVs, all the most popular makes and models right here in one spot. To make this team, these vehicles have to be Rath Road ready. That means they're hand-picked